welcome back. Thanks for joining me on my video blog. Today I just want to jump right in and quote something that probably most of you saw in the news, and that was the comment that Warren Buffett, the famous investor, one of the richest men in the world who's made all his money by making sound investments, said, and that said if it was practical, he'd buy a couple of 100,000 single-family homes in today's economy. And so how did he come up with that? Well, a couple of things. One, you can purchase a home at an ultra-low mortgage rate that'll serve, one, as a hedge against inflation, and two, it's a house. I mean, it's affordable. The second reason he brought up, which I thought was brilliant, he's always looking at supply and demand. There are always going to be households being formed, meaning men are going to get together with women and people are going to get married and they're going to have offspring and kids, and they don't want to live with mom and dad anymore, so they're going to go out and get their own house. Whether they rent it or buy it, there's going to be houses that need to be lived in, and we need housing. And quite honestly, if you take San Luis Obispo County, there's been very few homes built, very little new construction. You don't see housing tracts. So you have this demand, but the supply is not going to meet it. At some point, that's going to cross the line, and that's why he's bullish on housing over the long term. He's not talking about a 2-week window, but he's a long-term investor. So right now, he's actually prefers real estate to stocks, and stocks are, equities, as they call them, are his preferred mode of investing. So how does that affect us here in San Luis Obispo? Well, every month we pull up the statistics on what's happening in the marketplace, and the biggest thing I see is two things. One, incredible affordability, okay? And two, we're seeing the market shifting more to almost, I'm not going to call it a seller's market, but it's shifting. Whereas you'll have a certain number of homes for sale every month and a certain number that sell, and that percentage, we call that the absorption rate. So if 1 out of 10 sells, we've got like a 10% rate, and it could take 10 months to sell the homes. Well, we were averaged 10 to 15% the last few years. Now we're averaging 30%, especially in the North County. So if there's 100 homes for sale, we'll have 30 that sell every month. So it's basically going to take only 3 to 4 months to sell all the houses if no other houses are listed. So that's improving in the marketplace. So let's talk about affordability really quick. If you average out the February sales for Atascadero and Paso Robles, put those two together, the average price of those homes was $259,000. If you didn't put down a penny and you're a first-time buyer or whatever, no money down whatsoever, if that was possible, your payment on $259 at today's interest rates of around 4% is $1,230. That's virtually what it's going to cost you to rent that house. And when you rent it, you don't get any interest deduction. Okay, you get no benefit. You can't write off your property taxes. Okay, you're just throwing money away. So that's in Paso Robles and Atascadero. If you went to Morro Bay in the month of February, the average home sold for $331,000. If you finance that 100%, that's if you had no money to put down, your payment would only be $1,584. Again, the equivalent of what you pay for a rent for a similar house like that. So you can see that, quite honestly, most people are going to put some money down, your payment would be even lower. So the housing market is incredibly affordable, and you can lock into these long-term rates and these great prices. All right? Will it last? I'm not sure, but this is what's happening today. Lastly, I'll give you an example in San Luis Obispo. The average home sale price in February is $410,000. Again, if you had not a penny to put down and you could just finance the whole thing, your payment would be $1,962 a month. Okay? Basically what you're paying for rent. Again, with none of the benefits of home ownership. So I want to share that with you because I think a lot of people are starting to see that this is a great opportunity. If you have any questions about this, how it will affect you, give me a call, 781-3750, 781-3750. Thanks again for stopping by, and we'll look forward to talking to you soon.